Okay, this is the tail end of chapter 13. We're reading from The Rape of the Mind by Just A.M. Merleau, M.D. When the citizenry no longer has confidence in its leaders, it looks for the man with brute power to be its leader. Where is the politician who is willing to admit that his opponent is at least as capable as he, and perhaps even more capable than he is? In the free admission of equality of ability and of the wisdom of his opponent lies the politician's chance for cooperation. For true cooperation can only be brought about by mutual empathy and sympathy and the understanding of human faults. In April 1951, a group of psychologists, psychoanalysts, and social scientists affiliated with the United Nations, the World Federation of Mental Health, UNESCO, and the World Health Organization were guests of the Josiah Macy Jr. Foundation in New York. This was a meeting at which these problems of government and the impact of governmental systems were explored and discussed and published later in a report. These experts have become more and more aware of the need for psychological education and selection of government administrators. Should our administrators be psychoanalyzed? This nearly utopian question does not predicate an immediate rush for psychological training for politicians and administrators, but it does point toward a future period when practical intelligence and sound psychological knowledge will guide man in the various aspects of his life. Education will be more fully permeated with dependable psychological knowledge. Psychology and psychoanalysis are still young sciences, but many of our present-day politicians could already profit by them. Through gain in self-insight, they would become more secure in the strategy of world guidance. They would assume more responsibility not only for their successes but also for their failures, and they would take more responsibility with fewer inner qualms for the good and welfare of all. At this very moment, our failure to solve the problems of governmental inefficiency and bureaucratic intrusion into human actions may hamper the citizen's mind in its development. Man's need to conform is in constant battle with man's need to go out on his own. The tie-up of our spontaneous free thinking with the unadventurous administrative mind has to be studied, and the problem it presents solved by the psychology of the future. My friends, that's the end of chapter 13, and I'll see you in chapter 14. And the name of that chapter is The Turncoat in Each of Us, the confusing influence of the problem of treason and loyalty. And that's where I'll see you next. It's a longer chapter. Take a few videos. See you there.